What's up, everybody? It's John Morgan. Listen, I want to just say thank y'all to everybody who has been supporting this podcast. I cannot grow this without the support of the community who allows me to grow. So thank y'all to everybody who's been supporting, everybody who's been sharing it, everybody who is a subscriber on YouTube, everybody who has purchased merch from me, everybody who just tells somebody, you know, through telling somebody in conversation, who shared these podcasts in your group text. Thank y'all. I cannot do this without you guys, so thank you for that. Right now, we want to ask for a specific type of support right now. If you can, stop what you're doing. Yes, you right now. Stop what you're doing. Stop what you're doing right now. Go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Become a subscriber to this page, the Live Your Purpose Podcast YouTube channel. Become a subscriber. Like, share, tell somebody about it. But stop what you're doing right now. Go to your YouTube page and become a subscriber. Click it. Click subscribe on the YouTube page and become a subscriber of this page. It allows us to grow, and it allows us to touch different reach for different people. So please, if you call yourself a supporter, if you want to continue to see us grow and continue to see us build, stop what you're doing right now. Go to YouTube. Click that subscribe button. Like, thumbs up, all of that. Please, right now, Live Your Purpose Podcast. Peace. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Live Your Purpose Podcast. I'm your host, John Morgan Jr. Before we get into who our guest is for today, man, I want to just say thank you to everybody who has been supporting the podcast. Continue to support the merch, the gear, man. I really appreciate that. Go to the YouTube channel, Live Your Purpose Podcast YouTube channel. Subscribe. Click the likes on there. Continue to share. Tell a friend. Again, man, I never want to underestimate the support that everybody's been giving me. We're getting a lot of love on the podcast, man. I really appreciate that. I never want to, take that for granted, because I know, I can only do this with the support of everybody, hold me down. So thank y'all for that. For those who do not know, if this is your first time tuning in to the Live Your Purpose Podcast, this is a space, man, where we have authentic and organic conversations, and we highlight individuals' backstories. Now, a lot of times I speak to entrepreneurs, but sometimes, we do it a little bit different. We don't have to just speak to entrepreneurs. We speak to different people who we feel like have important stories. You know what I'm saying? And again, the purpose of the podcast is, man, we want to highlight people, man. We really want to tell people stories and show love to people, who we take inspiration from, and people who we feel like, the audience is going to be able to take inspiration from. So this next guest who we have on here, I know that y'all going to get some inspiration from this dude's story, man. It's crazy because, like, when I do my research on these people's stories, like beforehand, I always, like, I come into it, knowing certain things. But when I do my research, it's like, dang, I ain't had, you know what I'm saying? You always learning something new. So, like, this next person, man, I'm excited to have him on here, man. Ohio legend, state legend. If you from the state of Ohio, man, you gonna know who this dude is. If you from the Columbus area, you definitely gonna know who this dude is. If you a Buckeye fan, you definitely gonna know who this guy is. If you a hooper, if you a fan of hoops, if you a fan of just ball, if you a fan of just playing the game the right way, you gonna know who this dude is. You're gonna have a firm appreciation for this guy, man. Without further ado, man, we got two-time Ohio Mr. Basketball, which I did not know. I did not know my dude won it twice, you know what I'm saying, which is crazy. That's legendary status as it is, you feel me? Two-time first team all Big Ten Freshman of the Year, National Freshman of the Year, two-time All-American. Jared Sullinger, what's good with you, bro?
What's happening?
How you feeling, man?
I can't complain, bro. I'm living the dream, honestly.
Good. How I feel, man, when you hear people, roll out your accomplishments and, your accolades and your award. When you hear that today, how that feel, man?
I mean, it's crazy to think about it, but at the same time, like, if you look at the foundation that I had around me, my older brother Julian, my oldest brother JJ, my mom and my dad, you know what I'm saying? Like, those people essentially, like, created who I am today, and then I put my own little spin on it as I got older. Yeah. So you got to give credit to the village that I'm a part of.
No, that's a fact. I love that, because that's, that is why I'm doing this pod. You feel me? Like, one of my biggest, incentives just in life is the people I've been connected to. You know what I'm saying? So I understand that, wholeheartedly, man. Thanks again for coming out, man, and being with us today. I appreciate that, bro. Again, man, we gonna get into your story a little bit. I want to touch in the basketball side. I want to touch into some stuff that you're doing right now. I want to touch on kind of how we even got connected for real. But like before we even get into all of that, man, let's start at the very beginning. We in the city of Columbus right now. This your hometown. When you reflect on your life, bruh, as a kid growing up in this city, what do you think of? What comes to mind for you when you reflect back on childhood coming up here in this city?
I mean, I grew up on the south side of Columbus. I was about to say Chicago. I don't know why I even said that. South side of Columbus. And, you seen everything. Drug dealers. You seen people go to jail for murder. I even seen somebody get shot in front of me. So when you look at that, you just don't want to be a product of your environment. And then, like I told you, my village was crazy. So I had my oldest brother went to college. He graduated at Ohio State. Julian, my older brother, graduated from Kent State University. Both on D1 scholarships. So, basketball wasn't the only thing that my mom and dad harped on. They also harped on, being a student first and then athlete second. So, like I said, man, my village was the reason why I was able to, come out of the situation that I came out of. A lot of people don't grow up with their mom and dad in the same household. I was able to see that.
Yeah.
Older brother working his ass off, just to get minutes in Julian at Kent State. And then I got my oldest brother that, only knows one way how to play basketball is that's hard. You know what I'm saying? So, like, just watching that as the youngest brother, seeing that and just kind of being a sponge and just absorbing everything that they're doing and trying to, emulate what they're doing and be them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beautiful part about being the youngest brother is like you get to see everything that you like in your older brothers, and you keep that, and everything that you don't like, you put a spin on it.
Facts.
So, that's the beautiful part about being the youngest brother.
Yeah, facts. And you get your parents as their best self. They done already had two above you, so you get your parents that they done involved in going through some shit with your, your older siblings, so you get to see them at their best self as well.
Yeah, I think that's why me and my dad are so close because, he bumped heads with both of my brothers, and then when it came down to me, and he was the head coach, in high school for my team. He kind of communicated more compared to what he did with Julian. With Julian, he would take things out on Julian, and Julian didn't know. By the time my sophomore year, junior year hit, my dad told me, it's like, there's a lot of times where I'm yelling at you, but I'm coaching through you because I know you can handle it. So when he told me that, me and his relationship just made a full 360, and I was able to play for him with a free mind and understanding that, sometimes he's yelling at me because I made a mistake, but also he's yelling at me because I can handle it. And, ever since then, we've been like, me and my dad have been best friends.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. And that's what I like about that, man, that even sounds like an evolution of just like the parent-child relationship today. You know what I'm saying? Like our parents, they didn't have those type of conversations with their parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's dope to even hear, you know what I'm saying, you and Pop's able to have those type of open conversations today. You know what I'm saying?
It's just direct from, my dad never had his mother go to a basketball game. I don't think his father came to a basketball game. And so my dad came through, watched me play basketball. Then he was my head coach. And then when I went to Ohio State, he was still watching me play basketball. And, to have my dad and my mother be in the stands of watching me play basketball in my hometown, like that's only something you dream about, especially at the highest level of college. Like that's something you just dream about. And so, like I said, I was real lucky, bro.
Yeah, man. We coming off of a historical year in 2020. I know for myself personally, bro, I learned crazy amount of stuff about myself. You know what I'm saying? I had so much life shit happen. Like I'm talking about like big stuff. I had my first child in 2020. My mother passed away in 2020, and the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? We were forced to sit down. So a combination of all those things together, man, I was forced to like go inside and, really look within myself and like do some internal work. You know what I'm saying? What did you learn about yourself, bruh, in 2020, the pandemic, just some stuff you may have went through just personally? What you learn about yourself?
Man, I learned that I'm human. I'm human. Everybody has flaws. Everybody has perfections, if you want to call it. But I'm human, and I learned that, as I get older, you have a routine. You know, you wake up. I got twins, so my twins was born in 2019. So I wake up, you know, change them, get them ready, and then me and my wife, which is pregnant now, we're about to have a baby.
Oh, congrats, bro! Congrats.
In like 3 weeks.
Oh, snap!
Yeah. So, she, you know, we'll go to the gym. Kids is there working out. All of a sudden, that stopped, and then all of a sudden, the routines just kind of went away, and then I had to find myself like, what makes me me? So then I start diving into puzzles. I start diving into the stock market, just reading. I'm not heavy in the stock market, but I was reading. You know what I'm saying? I found myself reading more about that, reading more about the mind, just because I felt like it was suffocating, just being in the house all day. So you read more about, you know, how can you train your mind to be better. I did that, and then, you know, puzzles. I started doing puzzles with my wife.
What kind of puzzles was you doing,
bro?
We
was doing 1,000-piece puzzles, 2,000-piece puzzles, and we just working through it throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just sitting there watching TV, watching a Netflix show.
Scrolling on your phone.
On Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah.
No, we're sitting here trying to train our mind to be better. And I think, you know, through the quarantine, I found out, like, I'm human.
Yeah.
I'm not just an athlete. I'm human. There's other things that I need to tap into for when the basketball stops. And that was the beautiful part about the quarantine. And also I found out my wife is my best friend. We barely argue.
That was dope. That's a real thing. I heard Dave Chappelle say on the podcast during the pandemic, he said the beautiful thing about quarantine is, he said, this is a forced reflection of all your decisions. He said people are in the house with their significant others. They don't even like them. Like, you know what I'm saying? You've been with somebody 5-10 years. You realize you don't even like your significant other. Then you look at your kids. You're like, damn, I don't even like my kids. And when I looked at mine, I was like, thank God, like, you know what I'm saying, that I enjoy my lady. Like, you know what I'm saying? I like her. You know what I'm saying? We ain't beef at all during the pandemic like that. You know what I'm saying? So that is a huge blessing, bro.
No, it is, because I mean, I got friends. I ain't gonna put them out there, but you know, I got friends that was just getting annoyed, just because they couldn't go nowhere. They were stuck in the house, and then you find out that you're not compatible. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's times where you like, for me and my wife, we went to China, and we kind of got to experience this, even though I was on the road playing road games, but you know, in China, we're 13 hours ahead. It's just me and her. In order for her to go back home or me to go back home, it's a 24-hour trip. And so only people we could talk to was me and her.
Work it out.
And we worked it, and it started there. And then from there, we was like, when we got into this quarantine, we was like, man, we're just in China, but we're at home. Now we got things to do. And that was like kind of like the head start for us when I played in China.
What were your dreams as a kid before you fell in love with the game? What were your dreams? Do you remember?
Yeah, I had two dreams. I wanted to live in the suburbs of a nice city, just to say I did it, and I wanted a 2-car garage, to the point where, you know, you can park your car inside the garage and go straight into your house. Like where I grew up at, like there's no garage attached to the house. So those are my two dreams, and you know, just to be able to do those two things, like I'm just always happy every time I pull up to my house, because it's like I did it.
Yeah, you fulfilled it.
Yeah, I did my checklist.
That's crazy. And how often do you know what I'm saying, when you just sitting at the house, how often do you reflect and just be like, you know, I'm proud, I'm content, you know, with how this thing is turning out?
No, every day. Every day I pull up to the house, I'm happy, because, you know, where I grew up at, it was me and my 2 older brothers, and we was in the room, in a small room. You know, just think about it. Jules is 6'3", some say he's 6'1". Then you got Jay is 6'5", but he's really 6'4", and then it's me as I was growing up. And so we're in this small bedroom. And every time I walk into my bedroom or my kid's bedroom is bigger than the bedroom that I grew up in. Right. And that right there is like a fresh breath of air, because, you know, I'm just thankful every day I walk into my house. You know what I'm saying? I don't take anything for granted. Yeah. Like all the hard work that I put in, like I'm seeing it.
Yeah. One of the things that I learned about you and doing my research is that, you know, as a youngster, bro, you were very cerebrally, like, just like, you were ahead, you know what I'm saying, when it came to thinking the game, how you seen the game. You were able to break down the game differently from a young age. Do you remember, you know, it may have been times where, like, you wanted to hoop with your older brothers and you couldn't, but you just seen things differently than them. Do you remember being that kid?
Yeah. The crazy part is I remember watching Trained in Langdon at
Oh, snap, from Duke.
At Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trajan had game, bro.
Yeah, from Alaska. He had game. That
He
boy
just
could
got
hoop.
hurt. He just got hurt with the Cavs, but he had game though.
Yeah, serious game.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad was watching their game on ESPN, because, you know, Duke always was on ESPN. And he was just breaking down Trained in Langdon game. And it was like, look at him. He can shoot going left. He can shoot going right. He got the catch and shoot. On defense, he's always in the right spot. You know, he's helping. He's guarding the ball. He's guarding his yard. Like, my dad was just breaking the game down at an early age. And from there, I started watching basketball more and more with my dad. And then here comes Julian and Jay that played at the college level, and we're watching basketball with them, and they're breaking it down for me. And instead of me just talking, I'm asking questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of watching the highlights, somebody get dunked on, you know, I'm like, why did he get dunked on? Was he late to help? Was it just a great move? You know, certain things you can't help on the basketball court. And so that's where I kind of got the IQ. And then from there, it was like, now I'm in the game. I seen the game. I'm playing the game. Now I'm looking at it with my own two eyes instead of just hearing the other voices. And then I took everything that they taught me and I put the twist on it. Like I always say with everything, it's like, you know, Amazon was made by Jeff Bezos. But, you know, he stole that idea from somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Everybody steals at some point, and you just put your own little twist on it, and that's what I do.
When did you realize that, like, since you were able to think the game and you were able to break down the game early on, did you know that was going to separate you? Like, when did you realize that, like, all right, he may be more athletic than me, but, like, I know way more than this dude, and that's going to separate me?
That's when the game slowed down. Like, you know, at a young age, like, you see guys playing 100 miles per hour, just hard, running up and down, going to their go-to moves ASAP. For me, it was like a feel. So, like, as hard as they was running, as fast as they was running, as high as they was jumping, I was playing super slow mentally. But physically, I was playing at that same level. And so that's what made me you know, to be able to play at a high level still to this day is that, you know, I play the basketball game more mental than physical. Like, I see a couple plays where I'm 2 passes ahead. I know where the pass is going. I know when to get ready. I just see the game because it's just like, it's just so open to me and it's so slow to me that, you know, as fast as they're running, I just feel like they're coming at me super slow.
Right. You can take your time. You don't have to rush. Man, you spoke on it a few times, man, about, you know, the impact of having your 2 older brothers ahead of you. Speak a little bit more to me about just, like, again, man, when you reflect back on having them, you know, man, for those who don't know, man, your oldest brother, JJ, he was cold. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was a monster down at Old State itself. Like, when you reflect back on, you know, what they meant to you coming up, how do you view that? Go ahead, give them some love, man. I know
I tell them all the time, they're like, you know, they was like Satch, my dad, Satch, but like the brother version. Like, you know, they still yelled at me like I was their son, but at the same time they had their own little twist of love at the same time. So it's just like they're yelling at me, but at the same time, like, you can do better. Well, my dad as a coach is like, do better now. Right. And it's like, you know, my older brothers understood, like, it's going to take some time for him to get to that level. And, you know, having them and watching them play. So Jules is like a 6'3" big man, right? And then you got my older brother, JJ, he was a guard. So when you watch me play, especially overseas, it's like
a little bit of both.
It's like Jared doesn't post up, and it's the reason why I don't post up, because I took some of the game from Jay and I take some of the game from Jules and I combine it and make me. So like if Jay and Jules was 6'9", essentially they would be me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm a mixture of both of them. And I put that twist onto my game, and I learned so much through them. Like, Jules taught me how to play big man defense as if I was 6'3", but I'm 6'9". You know what I'm saying? Then Jay is teaching me how to read a ball screen or get a shot off or get my fadeaway off. Yeah, he's 6'5", but I'm 6'9". So, like, everything that they're adding to me and to my game, it was just like they taught me at the mental level of being their height. And then when I realized that I was 6'9", everything just unlocked. And that's what made me to be the player that I am today. It's just I was taught by so many people the game of basketball that I was a sponge. I never just, like, argue with them, because if I argue with them, it's like they're Division I basketball players. Why would I do that? That's where I'm trying to go. Why would I argue with him? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything that he's been taught is coming from a coach. So why not listen?
See, it sounds like you accepted being a student. And you know what I'm saying? You accepted like you accepted the greatness that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? In order to be the teacher, you have to be the student first. You know what I'm saying? In order to be a boss, you have to be a worker first. You know what I'm saying? All of these steps in the process is what make a person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's dope to hear, because a lot of people, man, don't see the value in that. You know, a lot of people don't see the value of just shutting up and just listening.
Essentially, like you said, in order to be the boss, you got to be the worker. And I was the worker for so long. And on top of that, being the youngest, you really don't have no say so.
Yeah.
So it's like when we're working out or we're doing something, it's like they tell me to do it. I had to do it, or else, you know, with Julian, from Julian's standpoint, I got punched. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to get punched by Jules. You know, Jules looks like a bouncer.
Right.
So I don't want to get hit by him. So I did what he told me to do, and it was just like it's second nature. And then on top of that, having a dad as a coach, you're always supposed to do what the coaches ask you to do. And so when it comes from a coach to tell me to do something, it's nothing for me to do, because, you know, that's what's right for the team. I don't care if you tell me to take a half-court shot. If that's what you ask me to do, I'm going to do it, because that's how I was raised.
Yeah. What was your experience, man, having your pops as your coach and, like, your older brother's coach, and just, like, you know, living in the house with a dude who is, you know, essentially – bro, he gonna see everything you do on a day-to-day. So, like, if he wanna make you run a little bit extra, he wanna make you, like you said, break down film at the house. That's just what it is. What was that experience? You know what I'm saying, coming up?
You gotta give my mom all the credit. You gotta give my mom all the credit. My mom, she had this barrier. So as long as we're on the basketball court, he's coach. But as soon as we step off the basketball court, you're dad, right? And so with Julian and my dad, because Julian was the first one that got coached. It was a lot of hiccups, because my dad had a lot of learning process going through with Julian, so he didn't know how to handle it. Jules make a face, he's done for the whole game, stuff like that. So when it got to me, my dad had pretty much a good handle on how to be a coach and be a dad. And when my dad crossed the line, especially at the dinner table, it's like my mom would be like, hey, not here. Not here. And you know when somebody's wife say something,
that's the
especially
law.
At the dinner table.
That's a fact.
That's law.
That's a fact.
That's law. And then you just hear my dad go, like talking under his breath, like he's upset. So my mom, you gotta give my mom all the credit. My mom was the one that gave us that balance of being a dad and being a coach. So my mom gets all the credit for that one.
Yeah, that's dope. Mom knew the importance of the boundary. You know what I'm saying? The setting the clear cut, you know, the roles between the two.
Yeah, because I mean, sometimes my dad, and he'll admit to it, my dad sometimes got lost to being a coach all the time. And it's like, you can't be a coach all the time. Like, at some point he needs his dad, not the coach. And because, you know, at the end of the day, you got a small window to play basketball. And basketball ain't gonna be everything. So he has to learn how to be a man and have some father love. So like, my mom did the right thing.
Hey man, you know what? I had Coach Drew on the podcast, Coach Drew Joyce, on the podcast a few months ago. And one thing that he talked about with coaching his sons and just the ideas of coaching in general, he was like, man, you know, I had a lot of learning curve in that, you know, not just coaching, but living my life, being a man, being a husband. And sometimes, you know, as children of parents, you know, who are learning from our parents, we don't always understand that, man, our parents just people. You know what I'm saying? Like you spoke on earlier when you said you were a human. Same thing with our parents, man. And they learning, the best way they can as well. And sometimes it's hard to see that in the moment. But it sounds like, with the help of your mother as well, y'all were able to, have a nice balance of learning, how to go through all of it.
Jules took the blunt hit of everything, and then my dad figured out from there. So he learned through the process and made Julian a better person. Made Julian a hard worker, but it was a lot of bumps and bruises going down that road.
Yeah, and another thing that I learned about you was that from an early age, man, they always knew you were going to be the one to get to the league. Did you feel that as a kid, man? Did you feel that, man? The pressure is on me a little bit different.
Oh man, when I was young, we had this little thing where my dad would introduce me to somebody. I had to show my hands.
Oh yeah, he gonna be the one.
Then I had to show my feet, and then he goes, he gonna be the one. And then that's been like that since I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
And then Jules will tell you, Jay will tell you, like when I got to like 6th and 7th grade, I was huge. Like some people call me huge now, but I was huge. Couldn't get up and down the floor. And every time Jay or Jules come watch me play, they would report back to my mom or dad like, y'all keep telling me he's good, but every time I watch him play, he sucks. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then I had this summer where I got smaller, I grew, and then all of a sudden my game and speed caught up with the players of 8th grade's game and speed. And all of a sudden I was playing at a high level. And I will never forget the first time Jules or Jay came and watched me play, and it was like, okay, maybe you are good. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of pressure. It was a lot of pressure handling that pressure, but at the same time, I had that confidence. And I wasn't cocky about it, but I had that confidence where I was like, I am the best. And if you don't have that confidence in this profession or any profession that you walk into, then what's the point of even doing it?
Facts.
Because if you don't think you're the best, then you're not competing at the best that you can be. So you always got to think, I'm the best. And I don't care who's on the court.
Where'd that confidence come from?
I have no idea. I'm not even going to lie, because Jay or Jules don't have that confidence. I tell them all the time, like, I don't know where it came from, but I'm the type of guy, if I shoot 3 shots and I make all 3, that 4th one's going up no matter what. And they can't do that. They don't have that mental mindset to do that. But like, if I hit 3 shots, the 4th one is going up. I don't care where I'm at, who's guarding me, how many people guard me. I'm shooting it.
And you always had that?
I always had it. Always had it. Just because, you got to go with what's hot.
Yeah. No, that's a fact, man. I mean, like you said, if you don't have the confidence in any realm you in, you at a disadvantage.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying, from the beginning.
For sure.
So, man, how did you manage that pressure as a young dude? You know what I'm saying, from your older 2 brothers, your pops, and knowing that you were going to be the one, knowing dad putting you on front, man. Look at him, he the one. How did you deal with that?
I don't even remember the pressure. Like, as crazy as it sounds, like my dad was like, he's the one, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. And then all of a sudden it was just like, I didn't hear it. Because I've been hearing it for so long. It's like, I don't hear it.
Right.
I'm just going to do me. I'm a hoop. I'm going to play the game the way I'm supposed to play. Didn't really worry about it because at the end of the day, like, 1, God was going to handle whatever he needed to handle. And 2, all the hard work that I put in behind the scenes was going to show in the light, on game day. So, just keep your head down and keep working. I mean, the word sounds good. Everybody's going to have kind words about you, but eventually them words going to get sour if you don't do what they think you were supposed to do. So you just got to keep your head down and keep grinding.
Yeah. Hold on, I want to hit What's up, everybody? It's your boy, John Morgan. Listen, man, right now, as y'all can see, man, I got on the new Live Your Purpose podcast merch, man. It's going crazy right now. The T-shirts. I got the dad hats. People always hit me up. John, man, where can I get it? How can I grab your stuff? You got a website, you got a site. How can I grab it? I'm here to tell you, yes, we do have a site. All right, that site is www.lypp.org. O-R-G. Again, it's www.lypp.org. Go to that website right now, man. You can find our you can find a link to the YouTube channel. You can find a link to the audio platform, but you also can find where you can shop and grab your merch right now. Again, man, check us out. We got the tees going crazy right now. The dad hats, expect to see some new products on that site. Go right now, www.lypp.org. Again, man, a lot of y'all been hitting me up asking me about this link and this site. It's available. So do yourself a favor, go through, support, shop with your boy, spend some money with your boy. I know some of y'all still got that PPE money. Come spend some with your boy, man. Peace. Man, how underrated is hard work?
Very underrated. Just because Mike Tyson said it. Don't quote me, but Mike Tyson said it's part of hard work. It's discipline. It's doing something that you hate.
Like you love it.
Like you love it. And that's the hardest thing to do, is doing something that you hate like you love it. And that's what hard work is. And that's what takes it to another level. Like I tell people all the time, I don't want to go to strength and conditioning every day. But I know if I do that in the off season every day, then when it comes down to I don't want to play in the game in the fourth quarter when my legs is dead and I'm just traveled 6 hours to get to the game, and then I had a 2-hour bus drive just to get to the arena. Like, people don't understand, like, all those things that you do behind closed doors, they come into the light when you need it the most. And then if you're doing the hard work in the back end, it's going to show in the light. And that's what makes fourth quarter players great in the game of basketball, is that all the hard work that they do, they trust their work. They can go 0 for 20, but that 21st shot, they're shooting it like it's their first shot, because that's all they've been doing behind the closed doors. Is, when nobody's watching, that work is getting put in. Yeah,
no, that's so real. I mean, that I even see that, in the field of just like in podcasting and doing stuff with content. Like, people easily will see us having a conversation and like, all right, that's easy. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can sit down and just, put some cameras up and some mics up and just, sit down and talk. But like, there's a lot of mental preparation that goes in with like looking for your guests, finding the right equipment, coming up with your questions, knowing how you want the conversation to go. There's a lot of work that goes into this, and people never see, the work. They only see the results.
I mean, you do it all the time. I mean, like, for you to reach out to people, then you got to know their background. Then you got to know what you want to talk about with them. I mean, people don't understand that. It's like you're still doing research. You're still looking things up. You're still trying to find a way to keep content new. Like, if you just walked on this show and talked about the same questions over and over and over again, then everybody's going to be like, I already know how this podcast is going to go. But, every guest that you have, the conversation goes left or right, but it's always a different conversation. And so, like, that's the hard work that you put in night in and night out of trying to make this podcast bigger and better and, honestly, motivational.
Yeah, 100%. Man, I want to fast forward a little bit, man. Your freshman year at Old State, monster, bruh. Crazy, like, 09, 010, was that the
10 and 11.
10 and 11, your freshman year. When you look back that freshman year, overall number one seed in the tourney. I think y'all went 31-2?
Yeah.
Bruh, how do you view that freshman year? Sophomore year was crazy too, but that freshman year that was different.
I was lucky, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. I was lucky. The year before that, they lost to not Kentucky. They lost to Tennessee in the Sweet 16, I believe. Tennessee in the Sweet 16, and Evan Turner didn't know if he was going or not. So then finally Evan leaves, and then they return Will Buford, John Diebler, Dallas Lauderdale, David Lighty, and I just walk into that spot. So, like, they lose Evan, and then they add me, and I walk into that spot. And the senior leadership doesn't go unnoticed, because those guys have, like, instilled, like, something into us as a team. Because Lighty never showed up late to a workout. Lighty was always first almost in every run. John Diebler was the loudest dude in the gym, still is. and that's what taught us our communication on the defense end. Will Buford just put his head down and worked, and he fought. I mean, he said something when it was needed to be said, but at the end of the day, he knew that John and Dave Lighty was the leaders. But when he needed to say something, he said something. And everybody stood attention and listened. Like Dallas Lauderdale, another guy that came in, worked hard, did his job, and communicated with us and told us how Buckeyes work. And when you have that type of leadership, that's the reason why our team did what we did my freshman year. It's like we just followed the lead of those guys. When we didn't have it as freshmen, they had it every day. And I can't emphasize it enough that what Will, Dave, John, and Dallas did for that team. And then when we went to the next following year, went to the Final Four, that was a result of what Dave, Dallas, John, and Will did. Like, everything that they taught us, then it's me, Kraft, Deshaun, Evan Ravenel, Linzel Smith Jr. Like, now it was us trying to tell those freshmen, hey, this is how we do it. And that's where honestly, that's where those 2 great seasons of my freshman and sophomore year, that's how it transpires, because of those guys.
So, but when you come in though as a freshman, like you had average 17 and 10 as a freshman. Is it one of those things where, like, all right, they know what you you are an asset to the team, so they come in and they kind of like let you do your thing, or is it one of those things where you got to earn those dudes respect and your work just kind of show for itself?
Nah, I'll give you an example. We was going in practice. And we were practicing about 2 weeks. And I'm trying to fit in. Like, I'm running the offense, trying to fit in. And Coach Miles was like, you're doing fine. And I just felt like, I'll be honest, I'm not really the greatest practice player. So all of a sudden we got a scrimmage against Baylor. And I'll never forget this. It was like a loose ball. Quincy Acey grabs the ball off the ground, like palms it, jumps up, puts his shoulder in my chest, dunks on me, yells in the mat, beats his head in the mat like something like KG, right? And all of a sudden it flipped the switch with me. And then next you know, I went for like 40 straight. And if I'm lying, you can bring David Lighty, Will Buford, John Diebler, anybody that was there, you can bring them up. And Coach Mata at the end of the scrimmage was like, shit. I'm like, what? He was like, I got to change the whole playbook now. I got to give you the damn ball. Right. Oh, okay. Yeah. And that's when it happened. So, like, at first it was like the offense was really predicated around our seniors. And then all of a sudden he seen what I did against Baylor, and he just ripped up everything and was like, all right, we're going to you.
Oh, wow.
And when he did that, I was prepared for it, because I was like, okay, there's not a double team I haven't seen. There's not a situation that required, quite frankly, big nuts to be in, and that's how I carry myself. Like I got the biggest in the room. Right. I'm a handle mine, and that's how everything transpired when I walked in there as a freshman. So I mean, it took time. I had to figure out how to be a good basketball player, but when the ball's up in the air, good basketball players just naturally come to the top.
So when you initially get recruited, though, you're not coming in thinking that you coming in to score the ball. You coming in thinking that you just gonna get putbacks and play D and rebound. What?
I mean, when I got recruited, I was getting I was in the heavy era of, you had Greg Oden that came in left.
Yeah.
You had Costa Kufis that came in left.
Right.
BJ Mullins came in left.
Right.
So like I kind of knew like what he wanted, but at the beginning as a freshman, you're just trying to figure out the speed of the game at the college level. I'm trying to figure out the system. I'm trying to figure out how can I score. And I didn't, when you're in practice, everybody's fouling. Everybody's playing hard. There's not really good, clean looks unless you're a senior doing what you do. And then all of a sudden we played another team that didn't know our offense or didn't know how we played. And that's when it all switched up. And Coach Mata seen like the ability that I had as a basketball player and the impact that I make on the offense end.
Man, Diebler is my age. We came out of school. As a matter of fact, I think Diebler came out 06 at Upper Sandusky. I went to a school in Northeast Ohio in the suburbs called Copley, and we scrimmaged Diebler our senior year. Destroyed us, bro. Destroyed us. I'm talking about had like 15-3. Like, it was nuts. Like, it was one of those ones like, bruh, who got him?
Right.
Like, I mean, he was going crazy.
Right.
So when you said that he's the loudest person in the gym, I vividly remember him screaming on D the entire, like, calling out everything.
Yeah.
And then, like, but he torched us, man. People don't remember Diebler. Man, Diebler went crazy,
In
man.
high school, he was unbelievable.
Oh my God,
bro! He cross half court, right to left crossover, pull like every time. Like he's crazy.
Man, and it's so crazy, man, thinking back on it, because I even remember going to see Buford play St. V, and he torched them. He had like 40 on them. Like they had a real good team that year, but he just went crazy, man. Y'all had a squad, man.
We had a crazy squad, man, and the discipline that those seniors showed is the reason why we were so crazy, because it was just it was a great blend of basketball players. We had the nitty gritty and freaking craft. You had our big shot blocker in Dallas. You had me in the middle. Then you had John shooting, I think, 52% from three.
That's nuts.
That whole year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You got William Buford that shot 47% from three.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Then you have David Lighty shooting 44% from three. It's like, okay, who do you double off of? And then you had me on the block averaging 17 and 10. So like you look at the game and you're like, all right, how do we stop this team? Do we stop Sullinger individually?
Right.
Or do we double him and then
Hope them dudes miss.
and that was the only way you could guard us. Is like I pray that these guys miss tonight.
Man, again, going back and doing my research for this, I forgot how y'all lost an attorney to Kentucky. Brandon Knight hits that shot, bro. I watched it like 4 or 5 times. Look, that's a tough ass shot to make, man.
That's the reason why he was a pro, man. That craft literally, like in today's world, that might have been a foul. How hard Kraft contested the shot, like it just looked like a foul. And when you miss shots or make shots like that, you understand, like, you know, why they're so good in those big moments. And Brandon Knight, that whole year, you know, when it was a big moment, it didn't matter how bad he played. He made a big shot. But we turned back around. We got a great shot. I think it was either John.
It was Buford.
Will Buford or John, and we had great shots then. It was just like, it is what it is. It's a make or miss league.
Diebler had just tied it up. He just hit a 3 to tie it up, and that's when Brandon Knight came and hit the shot going right. That's a tough shot, man.
Yeah.
I mean, good D, just better offense, I guess.
Yeah.
But when I forgot y'all lost, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
That hurt just watching it, you know what I'm saying, from my end.
Yeah.
And y'all did get a good look coming down, and just, you know, just that's why you play the game, man.
You got to play the game, man. That's the like one thing I've seen on Twitter is like somebody said, like, winning ain't loyal. It ain't loyal.
I don't get it.
Like, it's just not. You can do all the right things.
Okay.
You can do all the hard work, but you can walk off the field, basketball court, whatever you do, and you might lose.
Yeah.
And it's just not loyal.
Yeah.
And you just looking at yourself like, I did all the right things that I was supposed to do. Why am I not winning? It's just winning is just one person that's never going to be loyal to is winning.
I like that. Winning ain't loyal. I like that. I'm gonna teach that to my kid.
Yeah, man, it ain't loyal.
Yeah, that's a fact. Going into that sophomore year, what's y'all mindset? Are y'all expecting to win the chip? Like, what's y'all mindset going into that sophomore year?
I mean, we was on some FU type attitudes. You know, we was trying to beat teams up. That year we just went in, man. We was like, look, let's handle our business. I think everybody had a good summer. I got hurt that summer. That's when my back problem started. You know, I had a herniated disc, played through it, and I was hurt and still averaged, I think, 18 and 9 or something like that, and playing on one leg. But, you know, those guys that lost to Kentucky really hurt. And then we had guys that stepped in new roles. So Linzel Smith Jr. steps in the row as our starting 2 guard. Then Deshaun steps in as our starting 4. Evan Ravenel is our backup 5. Sam Thompson, freshman, comes in as like our backup 2. Shannon Scott comes in back up to Kraft. And then, you know, we also lost Dallas, Dave, and John. So everything that like I told you, everything those 4 guys taught us my freshman year, that carried over into our sophomore year. And then all of a sudden now Kraft is the new John. I'm the new Dallas. You know, Linzel's the new Dave. And like, you know, people are starting to get more communicating more throughout practice that, you know, really didn't really communicate. And now all of a sudden everything's getting competitive, and we just went to the mindset of just like, let's just do what we need to do and get to the spot that we need to get to, and then the rest from there, the rest will handle its business.
Again, man, I forgot. I mean, you know, this is 10 years ago. So, like, I forgot y'all ended up losing to Kansas in the tourney Final Four.
Yep.
But the build-up that they was marketing around the matchup between you and Thomas Robinson was crazy. Like, when I went back and just kind of looked at just, you know, some of the build-up they were doing, that was the national championship, so to speak. But I think that was a year Kentucky ended up winning. Is that the year
Kentucky
AD
won
and
it? Yeah,
won it?
AD and them won it. Deron Lamb, AD, Terrence Jones, Michael Kidd Gilchrist, Marquise Teague, Darius Miller.
Yep.
They had a squad.
Yeah, they did. They were stacked. It's crazy going back and looking at that, man. How do you view your 2 years at Old State? Like, even though y'all came short from your ultimate goal of winning the Natty, like how do you view your 2 years of just being there?
It was great. I met some lifelong friends. Met my wife. You know, stuff like that. You don't. What I'm trying to say here, you don't take for granted. You enjoy it, you love it, and I think I'm glad I got to experience that, because I got to grow up.
Yeah,
I didn't grow up in a business. I grew up as a college kid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the difference that we're going to see in today's world is that, you know, kids are going into a business at the age of 14 if they play AAU. Like, it's automatically a business now. And I got to be a kid as long as I could. And I don't take that for granted at all. I loved it. And so, you know, in them 2 years, that college career, it's amazing, but, you know, everything that I got off the court is even better. Yeah. It's even better. You know, of course I wish I won a national championship, but hell, I won 2 Big Ten championships and 1 Big Ten tourney championship. It ain't the same thing as a national championship, but hell, I'm still in the record book.
Right. And winning ain't loyal.
Winning ain't loyal at all. It ain't loyal at all.
And man, is that kind of when, you know, everything was cemented, you know, when you talked about earlier, you know, you have to give a praise up to your village and your family, your brothers, your parents, doing all the hard work, and you was able to kind of to reap it all. Was that one of the moments where you can kind of reflect on it and be like, this is why, you know, we did this is why all the work meant something. This is why the breaking down film as a kid meant something. This is why getting punched on by my older brother meant something. Like, you know, to see my family going crazy right here in the city that I'm from, playing for Old State. Is that one of the moments where you kind of reflect on, is like, this is where it all came together?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I was at the Final Four, and after the game, I got to see my mom, my dad, my nephew Jalen, that's at Kent State now. You know, my brother Jay, and a lot of my close friends, Darren Holloman, Chris Sewell, Emmanuel Rogers. Like, I got to see so many close friends and family, you know, after that Final Four game that we lost, that I was like, it's worth it. It's really worth it, because, you know, without everybody had a helping hand in helping me to get to the level that I need to get to, whether it was giving me a ride to practice or, you know, taking me to an AAU game, or, you know, when I was in college, my mom knew I didn't have no money, so she'd give me a little bit of extra money so I can go eat and get groceries and stuff like that. Like, those stuff I don't take for granted, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today.
Yeah, that's a fact. Man, you spoke on the business side of the sport today. Man, we in 2021, they just passed the NIL rule and stuff. What's your thoughts on just like the NIL rule, and just like, you know, kids got an opportunity to, like, you know, really provide for themselves and make a significant amount of means and make a crazy shit amount of money today in college, where when you was in 10 years ago, that wasn't the case?
No, I think it's great. But I think you're going to have to handle it a little bit different for everybody. Everybody's different, but you're going to have to handle it a little bit different. You know, I think colleges are going to have to figure out ways to get, not just basketball and football, which are the main streams for some colleges, but, lacrosse, fencing, and stuff like that. Like, how do we get it down to that level? Mm-hmm. How do we get these people to get paid as well? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, like, now you got to equally distribute this money, but we already know who's your main, income is. Mm-hmm. So that's one. And then two, you're putting kids in a business-like situation, but still be able to treat them like kids. Mm-hmm. And I think this could be a great teaching point because, we don't get taught financial literacy until we get to the point where we got financials.
Yep.
And if we teach them financial literacy, then now you won't hear about somebody going bankrupt with money because they're being taught how to manage their money at an early age, at a really early age, and they're going to make some good money, but we just got to figure out how we're going to manage it.
Yeah,
that's two, and then three, they're in a business. How do you handle your business? That's really big because is your business going to interfere with your ultimate goal of coming here to play basketball, football, baseball, softball, whatever you're coming here to do? Is that going to interfere with, the main reason why you got here? Or is this secondary? Or is this the third option? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a touch and field go when it comes to this, just because, honestly, a lot of these colleges don't even know what to do.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it's to the point where when California passed it, I think Ohio just said, throw it on the board. Let's get it out the way, just so Ohio schools ain't behind the 8 ball. Mm-hmm. It's just we don't know what's going to happen with this NIL deal. I think 4 years, 5 years from now, everything will smooth out. But like,
it's the wild west right now.
Yeah, I mean, you got kids that they passed it and then they're just throwing things at them. And that's another thing. What's a good deal? What's a bad deal for these kids?
Yeah.
They don't know.
That's the part that I'm worried about is that, like, a kid is going to need some bread. And if you give a kid an opportunity to make $500,000 right now, most times a kid is going to take that. But if this deal locks you in for 10 to 15 years and they taking, crazy amount of percentages down the line, it's not really a good deal. And that's the thing that I'm concerned about is, like, what type of deals are these kids going to be signing?
They need team lawyers.
Yeah.
I think team lawyers would be great. That way, every deal that it comes across, they have a lawyer that can look over the writing because, language is everything when it comes to a contract.
That's it.
And then that way you have something to protect these kids with, because a lot of these kids are getting approached via social media. Most of it's probably via social media. Nothing's on hard paper. They probably agree to something. They probably send them the email. And you want to make sure that these kids are protected and not getting taken advantage of because at the end of the day, we thought NCAA was taking advantage of them. Now we got outside people that's not with the NCAA that's definitely going to try to take advantage of them. So we got to protect these kids at all costs. So a team business manager, or a team financial advisor, I think, a lot of teams should go get these people to not only teach these kids, but to protect them.
Yeah. And if the schools are smart, they would implement something like that, something that allows some type of middleman in between, you know what I'm saying? But it seems like, at least early on right now, it seems like the schools are trying to step away from the NIL because technically the schools aren't the ones that's paying them. You know what I'm saying? They get money from third party people or whatever the case may be. So it seems like the schools are trying to, like, step away and let this kind of just play itself out.
It's just, like I said, it's a touch and go situation. You don't know what's about to happen.
Hey.
We don't know what's about to happen, honestly. But it's just, I think these schools are just trying to make sure that they don't create no problems for these kids. Like, they can't step in and, like, set up a deal for them. Like, I don't understand why that should be allowed. You know what I'm saying? That way, one, it could be a safer deal, and it can benefit both parties. Yeah. But I guess that's when recruiting comes in, and then you can set up money for a certain amount of recruits. But, like, at the end of the day, they've been doing it from day one. So this is just ways of hiding it without hiding it.
Yeah, people always find a loophole.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're going to always find some way to get around whatever the system is for the moment. So that just kind of is what it is. Do you feel like you should have left after your freshman year?
No. No. I mean, some people say yeah. I mean, anyway. You can say yes, you can say no, but for me, no, because like I said, I got to grow up. With that year, I lived off campus, so I was getting a check for living off campus, and then I had to manage that to make sure that I have enough money to pay for my rent and all that other stuff, and then be able to do what I actually wanted to do. So I got to kind of learn financial literacy through that year. Then when I really got to the money, then the financial literacy was second nature. So for me, no.
That's
but
good.
For everybody else, yes.
That's good. That's what you the one that matter. Shit, nobody else matters. So that's good, man. So talk about it, man. You touched it a little bit, man. You said that you had some back problems, coming in. I think it was the end of your freshman year, going into your sophomore year, man. They end up like red flagging you right before the draft, some injury stuff. Slipped a little bit to later into the first round because you projected to go
top 5
lottery, bro.
Yeah,
top 5. But listen, still getting drafted in the first round is still a great thing. Number one. Number two, you get drafted by the Celtics, good organization, historically pretty good organization on the court, and you come in where you got Hall of Famers right there on your squad too, man. So like, talk about the experience of getting drafted to the Celtics, slipping a little bit in the first round, and kind of coming in, getting the chance to learn from Hall of Famers, man.
Well, the crazy part was going through that draft. Like, my agent was calling me like, you can go to Denver, Orlando, or the Houston Rockets. He was like, but this is the thing: Houston Rockets is about to trade for James Harden. I'm like, all right. I'm like, no way OKC's going to give him up. Of course, me being a rookie and oblivious to everything, I don't know nothing. So I'm thinking, like, whatever. And then I was like, I'll go to the Celtics. And he was like, Celtics is 21. You're going to lose a little bit of money. I was like, that's fine. I'll just go to the Celtics.
Oh, so you wanted to go there.
Yeah. So I guess made some calls. Boom, 21st pick comes popping up. They select me. And then going to the organization, I remember that summer, it was crazy. It was like, so coming in was Jamar Smith, Deontay Christmas, Chris Joseph that we drafted in the second round, Fab Melo, RIP to my guy.
Rest in peace.
He was drafted at 22nd, and then it was me drafted at 21st. So us 5 come in, and we played every day, 5-on-5, best of 7, I believe. It was Jason Terry, Courtney Lee, Rondo, Jeff Green, Chris Wilcox. So it was like 5 young guys versus the 5 vets. And I remember for like 2 weeks straight, we didn't win a game. Like, we didn't win a game, right? So then we finally win in a best of 7. We beat them for the first time in 2 weeks, beat them, and we start talking crazy trash. And Rondo was like, all right, bet y'all ain't gonna win for another 2 weeks again, right? And I'm just thinking like, bro, we
definitely gonna win, bro.
We're definitely gonna get at least a win,
right?
No, for the next 2.5 weeks we didn't win. And we were struggling, and you just watch how, like, I thought I was smart, and then I run into this guy that's like, he's playing chess while I'm playing goldfish. Like, it seemed like, you know what I'm saying? So like, it was just.
You talking about KG?
I'm talking about Rondo. Rondo was like that, right?
Different.
So that was the summertime leading into that. Then we get to training camp, and then I watch KG work. KG is like always the first one. If there's a big line, he's first. If there's a drill, he's first. Like, everything he's doing, he's like front of the line, right? So a couple weeks go by in training camp. I'm on the first team squad, and I'm supposed to be a sub. So Doc, go get KG. I'm like, all right, cool. Ticket, got you. Ticket's like, nah, Rick, watch out. So I'm like, all right. I'm a rook. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to listen. So I run to the sideline, didn't say anything. Then next thing you know, Doc pops his head up. Like, didn't I tell you go get Ticket? I'm like, yeah. Ticket didn't want to come out. So I'm low-key snitching right now, right? So I'm like, Ticket didn't want to come out. Whatever. So he's like, go get Ticket. So I'm like, all right, Ticket, I got you. He was like, all right, watch out, Rook. So I'm like, all right. So I go back to the sideline. Doc pops his head back up again, like, God dang it. Ticket, get out of practice. He was like, no, Doc, I ain't getting out of practice. You got me fucked up. Nah. So he's like, get out of practice. He was like, nah, Doc, you got me up, bro? I'm not getting out of practice. Like, you messing up our flow. So Doc grabs the ball, was like, get out of practice or we ain't practicing. Ticket started banging his head on the wall.
Man, what?
He started yelling. Then next thing you know, he going up and down, mimicking everything I'm doing. Just running. Like, you ain't going to stop him. Like, that. And watching him and that intensity in practice, like, he played harder in practice than he did in the game. And I mean that, like, in a way where he pushed himself way further than he did in the game because he knew we needed him in the game. But in practice, he knew we didn't need him every day. But he just practiced so hard. And then when he got into the game, he mentally played so hard because he just knew everything that was mentally about to happen. He knew every play, everybody's go-to move. He knew everything. And then I was just being able to watch Rondo, KG, and Paul Pierce. Like, those guys don't mess around when it comes to practice. And then you got Jason Terry that's just like a seasoned vet that just comes in, super positive, knocks down every open shot you can think of. Like, it was crazy, bro. I had so many, like, I had over 200 years of experience in my locker room.
Yeah, you just named 4 Hall of Famers. You know what I'm saying? Jason Terry probably is a Hall of Famer. Yeah, he's most likely a Hall of Famer.
He gonna sneak in.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy when you think about, like you just said, crazy amount of years NBA experience, man. Like, people don't get that. And that Boston, I think that was their last year even playing together, right?
Yeah, that was the last year.
Was that the year that KG ended up getting hurt?
Nah, that was the year. That was in 2013. That was that was 2012, 2013. That was the year Rondo tore his ACL.
Got it.
We was in Atlanta. This is another Rondo story. We was in Atlanta. Rondo makes a pass and hops on his leg. Like, oh, snap. He didn't think nothing of it. Finished the game out on a torn ACL.
Rondo is different, man. he a different dude, man. He is different, bro. He is different. He's different. People throw out that term basketball savant. Man, this basketball savant, and then this is Rondo, man. Like, he is. I watched the episode of him on the All the Smoke podcast, and he was talking about just like some of his rituals and routines, and just like how much he consumes the game plan and just the schemes. Like, even before the coaches and stuff, like, he already, like, he had said something about, like, I think Doc came out and was putting up the game plan up on the board or whatever, and he was like, "No, Doc, I already know what I'm doing. I'm good." And he like, like, what? What do you? He's like, "Bro, no, I'm good. I already know what I'm doing. This is da 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 da." He just broke it all down to him. Like, he's just a different dude.
Nah, man, he graduated from Ticket University. That's what we say. He graduated from Ticket University, man.
So you give all that to KG.
I won't give it all to KG because Rondo was already smart, but like the routines, the approach, and like that intensity, like the way, like I got to be around them for a year, and the way Ticket's intensity and Rondo's intensity is just like, it just like vibes in the room. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole vibe. Like they know what they doing. Yeah. You gotta catch up with them. If you ain't catching up with them, then you behind the 8 ball ASAP. Like, you got to be able to vibe with them ASAP to even play with them too.
And it's like you said with your older brothers earlier, man. These is Hall of Famers. These dudes who don't want to chip. How you not gonna absorb that information coming from dudes who are proven?
Right, right. I mean, it was just crazy watching that every day, bro. Just watching them two. They had like I said, they had a vibe that, if you didn't catch on to it, then you was behind the 8 ball because, like, it was over with. Once they got into the pick and roll, Rondo knew what KG was going to do, and KG knew what Rondo was going to do. And if you was at their mercy, it was 2 points.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. Man, look, again, man, I love to hear the reflection. You know what I'm saying? We talk about experiences. So, like, when you reflect back on your time in Boston, man, those 4 years, obviously you only got a year with KG, Pierce, and Rondo and them, but just like your stint in Boston, but specifically that first year coming in as a rookie, learning from Ticket, like, how do you view that?
That's top of my list. That's the reason why I'm a pro today. Ticket he always told me, find a routine, do something every day that's gonna get you going. Get you know what I'm saying, get your shot right, get your handle right. Whatever you do, that's great. Like, just find a routine that makes you be the best that you can be every day, and that's what I do. Like, every day on game day, I do the same thing every day, and we used to call it being an android. Like, just being an android every day is just, you got to find that routine that gets your body going, gets your mind sharp, and get you prepared for that next push. And so that's pretty much what I carry from, what Ticket taught me.
What's some of the mistakes that rookies make coming into the league, oblivious to, not really knowing what to expect as a pro, not really used to the money, not used to the pace of the game, not used to the travel?
Everything you just said. I mean, the craziest part was my rookie year. We went on like a 3-game losing streak, and my mind went crazy because it was like, man, we get on the plane and everybody's just back to normal. But, we get on the plane, I realized, like, damn, we play tomorrow. Like, you didn't have that time in college to be like, on to the next one. Like, you're so used to being like, you lose, you got 2 or 3 days, coach is harping on the film, like, look what you did here, look what you did here. And, you can get smacked by 20 in the league, and everybody be like, all right, that film's over. Next game, this is what we got to do. And it's like, dang, you don't even get a chance to, like, learn from your mistakes. And you got to learn from your mistakes individually. Like, you got to do that on your own. You got to go watch the film on your own. And that's, as a rookie, I learned that real quick. It's like, if I want to get better, don't get it twisted. Like, guys help me out to get better. But, like, if I really want to get better about my wins and losses, like, some certain stuff I have to do on my own. Because, you have 82 games. I don't got time to be harping about a loss in Milwaukee and then knowing that we got to play in Cleveland tomorrow. I don't got time to show you that film. Like, that's on you. You got to figure that out on your own.
Right.
I just got to get you ready for Cleveland and get prepared to play this game in Cleveland. So that was the hard part, like, going into my rookie year, was just trying to decipher, like, how to let things go.
Yeah, that's real, man. What's something that you think that looking back on it, you learned that it ultimately helped you to today, that specifically that rookie year, like, just something off the court?
You're playing the game 24 hours a day. That's the thing. It's like, every decision you make leads up to game day. Food, sleep, what you consume, everything. So that's one thing that I've learned. It's like, everything you do leading up to game day is how you're gonna be on game day. So if you want to eat sluggish, you're gonna be sluggish. If you want to eat clean, you're gonna be clean. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a 24-hour. Your job is not just in the gym, in the weight room, doing conditioning. That's not it. Your job is literally a 24-hour period. Like, every day you wake up, you're doing your job. Like, you got to sleep early. You got to get your sleep. You got to eat well. You got to get your water in your system. You got to be you got to stretch at some point throughout the day. You got to get your shots up. Like, everything 24 hours. It's a 24-hour. Your job is literally a 24-hour job. What's
the percentage of players you think don't get that? They don't understand that.
I was part of that percentage when I was young. I was part of that percentage. So I would say there was just a handful. There's about 20% that probably was just like me. That,
And you think that 80% get that?
Yeah. It's the reason why most of them guys have, 7 to
longevity.
15-year careers, is because, they're doing everything the right way. Now, granted, there's some freaks in this world that can eat whatever they want, do whatever they want, and just run like a crazy man because it's genetic. Like, there's people out there like that, but there's also people out there that know that, like, their advantage is what they do off the court, and then everything that they have on the court unlocks because of everything they did off the court. So, about 20%.
Yeah. Man, you so after your time in Boston, you go to Toronto. You end up signing in July, but then you get hurt in, like, October. So as soon as you get there, you get hurt. You weren't even really able to play a full season there in Toronto. And what I read was that, you know, that was the moment for you that it just hit a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Can you talk to that experience a little bit?
It hit different because it was just like basketball ain't guaranteed. Mm-hmm. That's why I looked at basketball and I started questioning myself for the first time. It's like, basketball is almost is like winning, like we said earlier in the podcast. Like, it ain't loyal. It's just, like, there's certain things in this world that's just not loyal. Mm-hmm. Basketball is one, and winning is the other one. and the crazy part is those are two things we put together: basketball and winning. And when I got hurt, yeah, but when I got hurt, I was sitting there. I was like, man, like, I signed here to be, you know, I signed to be a starter. And then I got hurt, and then, you know, my mental was just going everywhere. And I kind of lost sight of really what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And I went to a deep, dark place. And then finally, when I got healthy, they traded me for P.J. Tucker. And I was thinking to myself, like, oh, I'm going to the Phoenix Suns, be able to showcase my talent, and, you know, hopefully get a couple more years in. And next you know, the Phoenix Suns waived me. And now I'm out the league. And now I'm just like, damn. And it happened so fast.
So quick.
So fast. I went from being wanted really bad to get out the league that quick in a matter of like 7 months. And so, like, that was the first time I started questioning my talent. Like, am I good enough? Am I good enough? Am I good enough? And that was just the constant question I had every day. And what climbed me out that hole was I put my head down and I started working. And I worked. And I worked, and I worked. And then all of a sudden, the talent that I had started popping up again. And I kept working, and I kept working, and I kept working. Now, I mean, I'm not getting the calls that I wish I got. You know, no NBA team is beating down my door to bring me back. But, you know, I'm content with where I'm at because I worked my ass off. Because I went from the bottom again, and now I feel like I'm at the top of only the top that I can get to. You know what I'm saying? And it's not enough for me, but I'm content. I'm happy. As long as I'm happy mentally, physically, emotionally, I mean, I can care less where I get paid. Money green everywhere.
Dog, do you realize that is a traumatic experience?
Yeah. Yeah.
I try to be intentional about, you know, just mental wellness and mental health on this podcast, because the reason I do that is because, man, a big part of me transitioning from an employee and a professional into an entrepreneur, it started with my own healing and, like, you know, being intentional about doing my own internal work, you know, and my own mental health. And one thing that I'm, you know, constantly learning and understanding is that trauma looks so different. And, like, when you talk about athletes, man, athletes experience so many different levels of trauma. And, like, when you talk about that experience right there, being wanted, being at the top, and then all of a sudden being out of the league like that, there is no playbook for that. There is nobody to turn to talk. You know what I'm saying? That is because when you make it to that top as a 1%er, everybody can't even, you know, understand what that experience is like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that is a hell of a, you know, experience to, you know, to deal with, bro.
Right. I mean, it was, but, you know, at the same time, it's like the crazy thing is I got back to my roots. Just put my head down and just got back in the gym and just stayed in the gym and kept working and kept working and kept working.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people, when they get to that situation, they can't just put their head down and keep working. They just keep looking at the problem. Why am I here? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? And I just went back to the roots and just called it a day and was like, all right, I'm out the league. Where can I find the next chicken at?
Man, you had around that time, you tweeted a picture of something and it said how to be mentally strong. And I seen that, and it's like 12 things on here. I want to read them, and I want you to tell me which of these, like, really stand out to you and some of the ones that you really, really hold on to. The first one is, don't fear a long time. Don't dwell on the past. Don't feel the world owes you. Don't expect immediate results. Don't worry about pleasing everyone. Don't waste time feeling sorry for yourself. Don't waste energy on things you can't control. Don't let others influence your emotions. Don't resent on other people's success. don't shy away from responsibilities, don't give up after the first failure, and don't fear taking calculated risks.
All of them. The craziest one was don't resent other people's success.
Mm-hmm.
That right there, when you like, one thing about basketball, and especially for me in basketball, is like when I see people get paid, and it could be for some people that always questions it. Oh, he's overpaid. You get paid what you're worth. That's
Right.
one.
That's
and two,
what you negotiate.
Yeah, and two, like, I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody deserves to get a little bit of chicken.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm always happy when people get paid. That's
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing about me. Is like when I see these people getting these contracts. Like Mike Conley's about to get offered 3 years, $75 million, and he's going in year 15. And
Crazy.
it's just like, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, keep collecting them checks because we have a short window.
Right.
We have a short window. As athletes, we have a short window. And, you know, for some people, they go from making $1 million to making $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
And you want those people to get as much money as possible. So, all of them sits well with me because that's what got me through a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just remove the past. Like,
Yeah.
the more and more I look behind me, the more and more I realize I'm not driving forward. I'm driving backwards.
Yeah.
Like, I want to drive forward. That's
Yeah.
why we drive with two hands looking forward, not behind us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think the two that stand out to me the most is the first and the last one, man. Don't fear a long time and don't fear taking calculated risks. That alone time, man, is so important. Like, you cannot be afraid to sit with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Feel your emotions. Feel what you're feeling. You know what I'm saying? Sit with yourself. Take some real intentional time to be with, you know, to figure out who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And those calculated risks, man, one thing that I've learned, bro, and just like, you know, again, doing the podcast and just even in my relationship, in my marriage and just being a father, is that, like, you got to take your shot.
And got to be calculated.
It got to be calculated. You have to put the time and the preparation in, and, like, you know, do it, and, you know, live with the results.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You have to live with, you know, you have to live this life. You know what I'm saying?
But all those things are connected into one. When you read them, it sounds like they're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say be by yourself a little bit, and then you turn around at the end, it says calculated risk. You know what I'm saying? Like that, all that's connected because as you sitting there by yourself and you thinking about like what you want to do next, what's the next thing, you got to be able to have a calculated risk and be able to live with that failure, which is one of them.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to, you got to be willing to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to put yourself out there. And everybody that's been successful, they have put themselves out there a little bit more than most.
Yeah.
And that's what makes them successful because they don't care what other people think.
Right.
And then it connects to that one again.
Right.
Then you can't worry about other people can't control your emotions. You can't control how somebody feels about if I presented an app to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But I can't care about that. And then I can't care if I fail.
Right.
I don't care if I succeed. It's about pushing forward.
Right.
As long as you push forward, you're good.
Yeah. Man, you said that you fell on like into a dark place. What did you do, you know, specifically to kind of like get yourself out of there outside of just like doing the work, just hoop stuff? What did you do, man, to kind of like help pull yourself out of those dark places?
My confidence. I told you that at the beginning of this podcast. I said my confidence is a little too high for normal.
To stay down too long.
Yeah. One thing one day I just woke up out of bed. I was like, man, you know who the fuck you are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get up.
Mm-hmm.
Get up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, handle your business. Just get in the gym, handle your business, do your work, and eventually, you know, somebody's gonna hand you some chicken. You know, that was just my MO. It's like, get up and stop feeling sorry for yourself. Like, there's people out there working. Like, one thing you cannot do is get the hours back.
You can't get no time back.
You can't get the time back.
Yeah,
you can't
that's
get
a
the
fact.
time back. So as I'm moping around in bed because I got cut and I'm all sad and all this and that, like, there's somebody in the gym that's getting to it.
Yeah.
And if just because they started at 8 and I want to start at 8 the next day, like, man, he already up. He ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
Because now the next day he back at it at 8.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
he got a whole gym time ahead of me. Like,
Yeah.
I can't have that happen, especially if I want to be successful in this sport.
Yeah, yeah. man, you end up going to China. You know what I'm saying? After your years in the league, and you ultimately, man, end up like rejuvenating your career in some sense, man. What you take from being overseas? How was that transition going to play overseas as opposed to being over here in the States?
I just wanted to hoop.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hoop. One thing I love is hoop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then when I went to China, first game I had 16 and 10. I'm thinking it's all right. You know what I'm saying? 24 minutes, 16 and 10.
Mm.
Get a call from my agent. Hey, they're thinking about cutting you. I said, what? Yeah, they're
Damn.
thinking about cutting you.
Damn.
I'm like, what do you mean? It's like 16 and 10 ain't good enough. So I'm like, all right, say no more. So next game go out 24 and 16. Agent calls back to think about cutting you still. I'm like, all right, I don't know what else to do. So we played another game, didn't really play well. So then we go back, we play against another couple of CBA teams. 40 and 20, 35 and 17, 38 and 17. Get a call back from my agent. Oh, you're good. They're keeping you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I went through over there. And like, you know, the money ain't guaranteed through the whole year. It's just like, as long as you're there, you get paid. But as soon as I cut you, I'm cutting off your paycheck. And so when I went over there, man, it kind of rejuvenated me because it's like the first time in a long time. It's like, hey, I need you. Mm-hmm. Number one option, I need you. You know, when I left Ohio State, I was role player. And then all of a sudden, you get to China, it's like, hey, you get the ball, everybody get out the way. So I went back to almost like my high school days, and it kind of rejuvenated me because it was fun. It's not the funnest basketball when you got to do everything, but it was fun for me because it was like I didn't have basketball for so long.
Right.
And then I come back to basketball, and that's the style of play that you want to play. That was fun.
Right.
I missed that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what rejuvenated me to be like, all right, I want to keep doing this.
Yeah. What's something overseas, specifically in China, man, that's like it's better over there than it is compared to being in the States? Anything. Basketball, non-basketball wise.
Mine's is I have a set time where I don't talk to nobody. So
because being such a head.
Yeah, so I'm 13 hours ahead. So by the time I get done talking to my wife, be about nowadays it would probably be at 9 o'clock because she'd be so tired with the twins. But back in the day, I get like 11 till like 11:30 in the morning, which would be 11:30 at night here, and then from 11:30 to about 8 o'clock p.m., I'm by myself.
Not being afraid of that a long time.
Yeah, I'm by myself. I'm either watching TV, I'm watching film. I think that's where, you know, my coaching inspiration came from. Is like when I was by myself, I just started watching film of my games and started picking things from other teams, and I started being the head of the scouting report by myself.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know, using the translation to kind of help me. Like I was ahead of the game, and that's where I started wanting to be a coach, and I started getting ideas of like businesses I want to start eventually and do all this other stuff. So that right there, that long time in China, a lot of people can't handle it. For me, it was perfect. It's what I needed.
Yeah, that's super important, man. And that's that kind of even takes it into like, you know, how we even kind of got connected with starting to, you know, how I even started to, you know, want you to be a guest on the show because, man, your brother is my homeboy, and he ended up grabbing a couple hoodies from me. I think it might have been back in December, and I think he gave you one, and then next thing you know, he just kept sending me texts like, man, bro said he's sporting your hoodie, bro. He said he just went crazy today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, what? He did it again like the next week. I'm like, man, but he kept like doing it. He talking shit, being funny. He like, man, he out there killing with your hoodie on, bro.
Nah, real talk.
So, man, what was it about it for you, man? Like, what did you take? Why did the messaging of just the hoodie kind of like just resonate with you? Was it all superstitious? Was it just kind of like click?
A little bit of both, but also the word live your purpose was like a reminder every time I took it off and about to put my jersey on. Like, live your purpose. Go out there and play the way you're supposed to play. Like, don't come out here and just like, you know, bull jive around. Just handle your business. And every time I wore it the whole playoffs. So 10 games. We didn't lose a game in playoffs, by the way. So 10 games straight. I wore it every game day. And the thing was, on game day, I had to send a selfie of me wearing it with with the strap across of it. And I had to send it to my brother while I'm at the elevator, about to go either downstairs to get in the car or downstairs to get on the bus, depending if we was home or on the road. It was a timely manner thing that had to be done.
Wow.
And I did it every game.
So as he sending them to me, you sending them to him, and then he sending them to
Yeah.
me. Wow.
Yeah, so I was rocking them the whole playoffs. And first game I had like 18 in the playoffs, and then the next game I had 40. I was like,
I ain't never
I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it. I'm gonna keep wearing it. I wore the same sweatpants. I wore the same shoes to the gym. Same mask, face mask, and then I wore my live your purpose shirt, the all black joint.
That's hard, man. Yeah, that's hard, and that's one of the intentions of doing this podcast, man. Is I want people to be inspired, when they see those words and see that phrase, to really be themselves, man. Really live authentically to who you are. Like you said, man, when you was having a tough time, you said, man, you know who you are. Mm-hmm. And most of the time, like, I'm a firm believer, man, that most of the time, bruh, we know who we are. We just have influences outside that sometimes gets in our way. And, we have experiences that take us away from who we are or who we think that we are. But more times than not, man, you know who you are internally when you spend that alone time. You know what I'm saying? You do some of your routine things, and it gets you back into yourself, man. So that's hard. So y'all end up winning the chip and everything?
Yeah, we won the chip in South Korea.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up, man. Yeah, that's hard. So yeah, if y'all don't know, man, look, get your LYP gear, man. It's gonna help you, lean into yourself, man.
It's for sure, man, because it's like, the way I grew up was, my dad used to be like, don't set goals. What's your purpose? Like, what's your purpose? I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, goals gives you a limit. Your purpose is kind of like, sky's the limit. I'm like, what's the difference between purpose and goal? And he told me, it's like, if I told you, hey, I want you to score 40, right? And you get 40, that goal is dead. But if I told you the purpose of you getting 40 was for us to win, then the purpose of the 40 is to win. The goal wasn't to get 40.
Yes.
You say that's the mindset I need you to have. It's like, you got to have the purpose. The purpose of why you scoring, the purpose of why you're passing, the purpose of why you're setting screens. There's always a purpose. There's never a goal. And I'm like, I get that.
Broke it down for you.
Yeah, my dad's a little old school. Like, he likes to make you think a little bit instead of saying it directly. He's a little indirect at times, but it makes you start searching for the answer. And that's the way I grew up.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Speak about your own experience in fatherhood, man. Like, what have you learned about fatherhood, man? Some of the things you want your kids to learn that maybe you didn't even get a chance to learn.
One thing I did learn is I called my mom and dad and I apologized. I apologized.
I've done that too.
I apologized. And the reason why I did apologize is because my situation is totally different than my kid's situation. My kids are straight. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've done a great job of making sure that they're good. Mm-hmm. But my mom and dad worked paycheck to paycheck and still had 3 kids and still somehow made us decent human beings. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I tell them all the time, sorry, because like I pushed and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed, and I didn't know how hard my mom and dad was working. And there's times where, as kids, you're ungrateful. Mm-hmm. And it made me realize how grateful I am to have my mom and dad to push me to become the person I am today. And that's the biggest thing about fatherhood, that I watch my kids, they grow up with no care in sight. They're good. You know what I'm saying? There's times where I didn't have to, like when they was born, I didn't work. I wasn't playing ball. I was making sure wifey was good. I was making sure them 2 was good. And as soon as them 2 was good and wifey was good, then I went back to, focusing on basketball. But my mom and dad couldn't do that. My mom and dad still had to go to work and then come back and make sure I was good. I was able to put all my focus in on my kids, and I was so ungrateful sometimes as a kid that I didn't see my mistakes as a kid and how hard my mom and dad worked just so I was loved, protected, and fed.
Yeah, no, that's important. I remember I definitely called my mother a few times, you know what I'm saying, before she passed about, listen, I apologize, man. You know, I had no idea what it was like to provide, to be present, to be there, to make me not even, you know, necessarily need things. Like, you know what I'm saying? That is in itself is a hell of a job. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I still turned out to be straight. You know what I'm saying? I don't have no felonies. I ain't do nothing crazy.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I turned out cool.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
I can't really complain. You know what I'm saying? Looking at the big picture. So I definitely understand that, man, completely, man. What's your I see you doing your coaching now, man, with TBT, man. Is that something that you kind of want to see yourself continue to evolve into?
For sure. I can see myself coaching just because I love the X's and O's of basketball. I love running a play and knowing that it works, just as exactly how you designed it. I love diving into film and watching a player's weakness and how we're going to exploit it. I just love, like, it's really a chess match. You know what I'm saying? Because you constantly moving pieces, you constantly making adjustments. Like, the teams don't go into games and knowing, all right, this is how we're gonna guard it. This one way. Right. No, you got to have option A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Especially at the top level, you got to be able to make adjustments on adjustments in the middle of the game, and that's one thing I'm passionate about, is be able to make an adjustment to an adjustment.
Well, dope, man. Well, I think you're gonna make a wonderful coach, man. I think that you gonna continue to evolve, man, and get everything out of this life thing as you want, bro. You know,
it's all about how we go at it.
That's a fact, man. Listen, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. I really do, man. You know, we scheduled it. We made it happen, man. You was a wonderful guest, man. Very open and transparent with me, man. I appreciate that. I don't take that for granted at all.
I appreciate you having me.
No problem, man. No problem at all. Listen, man, thank you again. Before we get out of here, man, I got a couple rapid questions that I want to hit you with, and then, you know, we can go ahead and get on with your day. The first question is, what's your goals going forward? You touched on the coaching. You want to evolve into that. Outside of coaching, do you have any business ventures you want to get into, any type of investing, what do you want to kind of just go see yourself doing going forward?
Honestly, I want to finish my degree. I want to finish my degree. I know that's random, but
it's not.
I want to finish my degree just because it's my mom. My mom tells me all the time, it's her legacy.
Okay.
It's her legacy.
Okay.
Because my dad has one, she has one, Julian and Jay has one. I left early, so, and that was part of the contract we kind of verbally agreed to, me and my mom.
Right.
She's like, you can leave early, but you finishing your degree. So I still got to get that done.
What's your degree in?
I don't know. I only did like a year and a quarter.
So you got to figure it all out. Okay, all right, okay.
I'm basically still a freshman.
Okay, all right. You got some time then.
I got a lot of time.
Right.
I got a lot of time. Probably got like 3 years left.
That's hilarious, bro. What are your intentions to finish out the rest of this year in 2021? What's your intentions of finishing out the rest of the year?
Honestly, just make sure my wife and my baby girl that's on the way, they're healthy, and make her life as easy as possible. It's not easy being pregnant and chasing around twins, especially when I was gone in South Korea. So you got that. And then, you know, I just want to finish out on a healthy note. Yeah. Through everybody, but not just me, just everybody that's around. Just because of everything that's going on, it's been a very challenging year or two. Yeah. With this COVID, now the Delta variant, and I just, you know, mentally, a lot of people are just not, I won't say unstable, but like they're going through a lot. Yeah. They're going through a lot. You know, they're going through a lot. So I just want everybody to be healthy emotionally, spiritually, and mentally.
Yeah. What's something about you people be surprised to know?
I'm a big teddy bear, man. Honestly, I'm not this mean. I mean, I play mean, I play nasty, I play gritty, but I'm not mean. Right. I'm really a nice guy. You come walking up to me, I'll hold a conversation. Right. Depending on, you know, the day and how I feel. But yeah. I'll hold a conversation. I'm not this mean guy that everybody thinks I am.
Okay. What scares you?
What scares me is death. Death scares me. Just because I have fresh lives that's on this earth. That's the one thing that scares me. So like I want to make sure that I'm at least want to get my kids to college before God takes me off this earth. Yeah. As long as they get to college, I'm fine. But you know, at an early age, I don't want my kids to go through that.
Yeah, yeah. What is your favorite quote?
Go ahead. You already know.
What is it?
Winning ain't loyal.
Winning ain't loyal.
Winning ain't loyal.
I like that. Winning ain't loyal. I like that. I like that. I like that a lot. I might even title this episode "Winning Ain't Loyal." I like that.
It's not.
Yeah, that's a fact too. What's the best advice you ever received?
The best advice I ever received was from Julian, actually. Julian, my oldest brother. He always just tell me, stay ready so you don't have to be ready. And I mean, plenty of people say that, but the way my brother delivered it, he added some extra words to it. Yeah. But the way his delivery was outstanding, and he doesn't really get a lot of credit for his delivery because usually they be ass. But this one, the way he delivered it to me in the time that I was going through what I was going through, that stuck with me. Stay ready so you don't have to be ready, and that goes through everything.
Yeah. If you could call your 20-year-old self, knowing what you know today, what would you tell yourself? Coming straight into the league, what would you tell yourself, knowing what you know today?
Your job is 24 hours. It's not just when you're on the court. It's not just when you're doing something for the organization. It's 24 hours. You got to carry yourself like a professional for 24 hours, regardless of where you at, what you're doing, how you're playing, who you with. 24 hours a day. You got to be a professional, and your job is on the line every day.
Yeah, that's a good one. Tell people, man, what you got coming up, where they can find you, how they can locate you. I don't even think you on social media, are you?
Nah, I'm on Twitter. That's about it. But,
okay, all right.
If you want to find me, you can catch me at Kingdom Summer League, or I'll be hooping over there on Sundays. Or if you want to find me, just don't call me. I'll call you.
The coaching thing, are you looking to, do you know what type of avenue you want to go? You want to go college, high school? You trying to get into the pro thing, or you don't even know yet?
I don't even know yet, man. I don't even know yet. Pros, I always say that's the hardest because they know everything. Yeah. And as crazy as it sounds, like if you told a player to run some of these teams, they could because they're that smart. At the college level, now there's NIL. I would love to do it because I know that these kids are getting paid. I'm not making money off these kids' back. Right. That would be amazing. And then high school level, I can see myself at the high school level because those are fresh brains. They're willing to learn. And I got a lot to give. I feel like, the knowledge that I have could carry over. It doesn't matter if you're a D3 player or a D1 player. My knowledge is universal as far as, basketball and life. Yeah. You're going to find a way that you're going to connect them together, and you're going to be prepared as a young man to be a man. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fire. Again, man, Jared, thank you, bro. I appreciate this, man. This has been a dope conversation, man. I know people are going to be able to get a lot of value from it. Again, man, thank you for kind of, coming in and talking about your story a little bit, man. Like I said, want to continue to support what you got going, man. Love to see you, keep thriving, keep shining, man.
You need to grab me a couple more hoodies.
Yeah, no doubt. I got you, bro. I got you, bro. I got you. Say less. Yeah, say less, man. Congrats again on the new baby coming in, man. Yeah. Again, man, thank you, for that. The last thing that we do, man, on this show is we lobby for guests for people to come on. One of the people who I want to really have on this show is Charlamagne the God. And the reason I want to have Charlamagne on here is because for those who know, in the podcast space in general, he is really he's really the guy. He's a tycoon in the podcast space. He has his own podcast network, and I think that, a lot of the knowledge and tutelage that, that I could be able to soak up from him would be great. But I also have a firm appreciation for him today and just his evolution and just like a lot of the work that he's doing on the mental health space, especially mental health work for black people and black males specifically. I love a lot of the work that he's doing, and I would love to be able to have that conversation. So if you could, man, tell my guy Charlamagne the God why he should be a guest on the Live Your Purpose podcast.
I think he should be a guest on the podcast just because of, one, you're a black man, and two, you've been through a lot in the past year.
Mm-hmm.
And with him doing everything he's doing for mental health, I think that will really touch you, not from a production standpoint, but from heart-to-heart standpoint, because everything that he's doing, you kind of fall under that. You know, with all this COVID, you know, your mom passing, brand new son, all that good stuff, like that kind of falls under your umbrella of what you're trying to show, and that's what Charlamagne is doing is living his purpose. And why not live his purpose on the podcast?
Say less, man. Again, man, much love to my guy Jared Sullinger, man, for coming on and being a guest, man. Again, man, go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, like, tell a friend to tell a friend. Go to the website if you want to support and buy the hoodies, man, lypp.org. Again, man, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Live Your Purpose Podcast.
Hoodie's got superpowers, y'all. Grab them.
He said it. I ain't even say it. He said it. Listen to him. Again, man, another episode of Live Your Purpose Podcast. We out. Peace.